be kind and supportive, that's free to do. Maybe we'll have less imposter syndrome, I don't know. Hello, I'm here to kind of rant on imposter syndrome. I am a creative person. I did my first vendor market. I make things while I'm homeschooling my kids because there are chunks of time where my kids have ADHD. They need me physically there, but I'm not actively teaching. I started crocheting a long time ago, but I was realizing that when I crochet during that time, I am a lot less agitated and it's better than like scrolling on my phone. I've known that I've been okay at crocheting, right? I genuinely thought that no one would think that I would do any good. And I'm not a designer. These are not my designs. These are patterns that I got offline. I did this. I made this guy. I never really thought that I could monetize it. I really enjoy creating, making things. It does something for my heart. I'm really happy that I had a successful market. I took this box and another box, probably around the same size, full. Not full, I'm sorry. 1.5 of these. This one came back half full. So I sold an entire box of product. It blows my mind. And had I been to a bigger like market where there was more people, I probably would have sold a lot more. I had a lot of higher priced items because those are the ones that are fun for me to make with like a lot of like little pieces that I have to sew on, and it just takes me longer to make. It is so nice to be able to find something that I can do while supporting my kids in school also fulfills like the creative part of me. Video creation is something that I really enjoy, but I can't do it while the kids are in school. With like my homemade items, people are pretty like complimentary to them, right? So that's an easy thing for me to go, I might be pretty good at that. My videos, I don't get the same feedback, and I don't need it. It is kind of nice to find something that I can do with my hands that fills me creatively and also people enjoy looking at and can say, wow, you're good at this. I can sell them to people that know nothing about me and break even on the cost of doing the thing. Why I've been struggling creatively lately is that my heart is really in video editing. And it really is in content creation as far as videos and things like that. We geographically are not in a place where there's very much stuff happening interesting on a regular basis. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. I think that's been hard for me to find a way to integrate the thing that I really enjoy doing is this with where we are geographically. In the meantime, because we're not going to be here long term, but in the meantime, it is really nice to find something that I could do. I do have a good like creative mind. Video creation can get really disheartening, I guess, because the people in my actual life around me don't understand it. I'm not getting any validation from anywhere, and that's okay. It's okay that I'm not, but it does make it complicated to continue to put energy into it when most of the feedback I'm getting is fairly negative, and not in the comment section. I'm talking about in like my personal life with people that know that I do videos. And it's funny to me because if you're making a physical thing to sell to people and that's your creative outlet, people are way more supportive and understanding of your hustle. And it's strange to me because it costs you nothing to engage with my content. Eventually over time, if I ever got consistent enough, I could, I guess, make money off of it. People are not understanding of that. I'm not posting a video and then directly getting paid right now. And so people don't see it as like a valuable endeavor. Whereas like making something physical, people get that. To support me doing this takes money from you. To support me doing video editing, number one, you could just be like verbally supportive, like, oh, that's so cool, but then you'd have to actually give me your time, which is pretty valuable. I don't expect anyone in my support system to spend the time to watch my videos. That would be a way of supporting my channel, but I don't expect that, and I don't necessarily want that if they don't want to do that. To support my like actual physical business, they have to give me money. And I find that uncomfortable. But for some reason, that seems to be an easier way for people to support my endeavors. The easiest way to support people sometimes is to say, you're doing something good. You're really creative. That's really cool what you're doing. And this is like a note to people that have a creative person in their life. Whether or not you understand the craft, whether or not you understand the passion, it's free to tell someone, that's a cool idea. I hope you're doing well. How is that going? Just checking in on it once in a while. Because it's interesting that when I make things to sell, people are a lot more like quick to support me with like financial, like actually buying something off of me, which I find strange, than they are to give me words of encouragement about my digital creation. If someone's trying to pursue something and you don't get it, and there's someone that you care about, even if you don't understand it, either go neutral, be like, oh, okay, and just leave it like that, or be kind and supportive. That's free to do. Yeah, you could physically buy these things from me. But when it comes to my video creation or my idea of this sort of creative outlet, it's negative, and I don't know really why. Maybe it's because it goes against people's principles or something, I don't know. Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean that it has to say anything about you to just be supportive or understanding of it being my thing. And I think this year what I've learned is that if you're gonna pursue something, you don't have to tell anybody about it. If you don't think that they're going to be supportive or understanding, or if you think that the feedback might be negative, just do it. Just don't tell people, and just do it on the sly. And I think that that's gonna be my lesson for this year, is I'm going to pursue what is fulfilling to me to do, and I'm not telling anybody what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do it. You either know what's going on in my life or you don't. I think there's been too many times in my life where the adults or people who supposedly have more wisdom than me, the older people in my life, were trying to keep me grounded, and I think that squashed me, genuinely. It is good to like let people understand the reality. If you want to buy a car, you're gonna have to pay for insurance, you're gonna have to pay for gas. When someone has a dream, and every single time that there's a dream, you hear, well, that could be really hard, that could be really challenging, I don't know, I don't really see that as you, and whether or not that thing was ever going to be what I did. Hearing that on a consistent basis made me devalue myself. Example, I can't remember what I said to this person in my life, but I said something around, I want to be a cook, or I want to be a baker. I can't remember. I was maybe only like 15. I was told, you know, I just really don't see that in you. And my reaction was, okay, why? And the response that I got was, well, I imagine that if you were a cook, or that if that was something that was really important to you, that you'd be doing it more, and you don't do it at all. So, I don't know, I just don't see it. Could be wrong, but I don't see it. That was not the only time that happened. That conversation happened a couple times. And not just with that person, with like other people too. It would have been just as easy for that person to say, oh, okay, what are you gonna make next? What would you consider making? What is things that you like to eat? What is that? What do you think of? And just asking curious questions about it. And whether or not anything came of it, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered, because at that point in my life, at like 15, 16 years old, even if I'd never cooked ever, from that day forward, I could have cooked. I could have started to do it. But when you have these negative things in your brain and actual people in your life telling you that they just don't see it and they don't think that you could do it, that starts to sink in. You start believing that. If everything that you're saying that you want to be is being like logicked so far out that it all seems unattainable, especially when you're doing that to children, you're teaching that child or that teen, they might as well just get a minimum wage job, clock in, clock out, and make money for somebody else. That's the messaging, right? No, don't pursue that. Don't try to pursue that. I know you're excited about these chocolate chip cookies you just made, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna be a cook. And I probably would have never been a cook. That's not the point. The point is, it would have been just as easy to show curious interest in why that thing was important to me at that point. It would have taken the same amount of time, the same amount of effort, and that's all I have to say to that. Like, if you have kids right now, and they have these weird dreams, crazy dreams, ask curious questions. You don't even have to say, you could do anything you want. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Just be like, oh, you want to be an astronaut? Why is it that that's interesting to you? Did you read a book or something that got you really excited about it? Like, what is that? And then just talk to them. Whether or not they ever become an astronaut is not the point. You're communicating to them that you hear them, that you see them, that you understand that that's an interest to them. You're showing genuine curiosity into their interests, into what they're doing in their life. And then you're also like empowering them that, number one, you could change your mind. That's something that I think is not afforded to people very much. Just because someone's interested in something now doesn't mean that they're interested in something later. And unless they're talking about like going to college for it and spending like real money on it, and unless they're like at that very specific point in time where it's actually going to be a choice that they're moving forward with, I still think you could be supportive and you could ask curious questions. But unless you're at that stage over logicking and over complicating or going kind of out of your way to tell them all the reasons why you don't think that one thing would be a good fit, I think that's the root of imposter syndrome. Genuinely. I think that there are some people that probably had super supportive parents and they still have that. I think a lot of people go through it, but I think the ones that super struggle with it, the ones that maybe never even put a pen to paper, are the ones that were told that the thing that they were interested in or that they were curious about is not for them. Even though they are curious about it, it is something that they want to do. That stuff lives in your brain. I know people that are truly artistic and that actually have some pretty good abilities. They undervalue themselves. Instead of just going neutral or kind, they went negative or mean. And I just don't really understand that. I don't understand. Like, just support people. Why is that hard? If we could take this next generation of kids, just be curious about the things that they're interested in, maybe we'll have less imposter syndrome. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out for my rant. If you're here all the way to the end, you're the real MVP. Do what you want to do. And don't wait for other people to tell you it's a good idea. Just do it.